Hey, this is Shane from St. Leonards, and you're at Popularity.
What were the expectations going in to put the album together?
Obviously, the expectations are to, you know, blow the record up and sell 10 million records. But it wasn't really. There was no expectation really. We got contacted by John Wooler, who produced a lot of records, and he's won sort of 5 Grammys as a producer. And well, back home in Australia, and he got into contact with us saying that he's heard some demos of ours and he wanted to work with us. And so it was just really quick, and we sort of got together and said, look, do we want to go over? Do you want to give it a shot? And we all agreed yes, and really just took the flight. There wasn't much communication with John. There was only a couple of emails, and he just said, look, I'll see you over here, really. And we landed in LA and met up with John and got into a studio, and he listened to our demos, which we were hoping that were going to be the starting beds for the record, and he pretty much said that we need to scrap all that and re-record the whole thing again. And that's exactly what we did. We got into a studio in North Hollywood and retracked everything, and really retracted in sort of 10 days, really. The record was done in just over a week, and it was just amazing, the result we got, and it's all just grown from there, really. It's been crazy.
What do you feel are the key challenges that the band faces during the creative process?
The main challenges we faced were really we had a mindset of how the songs were, because we obviously demoed them a lot back home in Australia, and John was really great because he made us think outside the square a bit, and he said, well, look, we could take this song down this path where you've gone, or we could do it a little different and try something sort of cool and a little bit left of centre. And that was a bit of a struggle at first, because we're so used to, we've been with the songs for so long, for the last 8 months before that, and it was a little hard to let go of the ownership of that. But the main thing we did before we left was to promise ourselves that we're going to let John sort of lead us in a direction, because we trusted his musical ability. So we just went with it, and to tell you the truth, it really worked, and we've all grown from it.
Was there a song on the album that was most rewarding to see develop?
Yeah, the most rewarding song for me was a song called Like to Start. It sort of started off in Australia, and it was sort of a little obviously demo sounding, and when we got to the US, we just sort of tried to think of it in a different light, and we tried to get back in touch with the emotion of the song and where it began, and we tried some synths, and we tried some sort of cello parts and stuff like that in the song, and it really worked out.
How do you measure your own success?
It's really funny. When you're in a band and you're sort of climbing up the ladder, you don't ever feel like you're really getting anywhere, but yet a year goes by and you look back at that year and you realise that 10 years ago, when you were young and you're sort of looking up to other bands, if you had done that back then, you'd be doing backflips, how happy you were, But you just get so caught up in everything that sometimes you've got to pinch yourself and stop and just take it all in, that look how far we've come, and realise, look how far we've got to go, because that's the great thing about the music business, and obviously that's what I like. I like the fact that you never quite got it. You've never won. It's always a search. It's always a battle, and there's no sort of finish line, really. It's just ongoing, and that's what I love about music.
Do you find that when you perform songs that they are evolving or changing with each time you play them?
Yeah, I feel, if anything, live, the songs are a little bit more energetic, where on the record we took them to a certain level, but we never really made them too over the top. We sort of held back rather than to go over the top on the record. So it left us a lot of space live to sort of rock it out a little bit in parts, or to bring it back and have it to be more subtle in other parts, and really work the emotion of the song live, and and to sort of feed off the crowd and their reaction as well. And yeah, and that side of it's been awesome.
Can you describe how you feel you've evolved personally throughout the album creation process?
Personally, I feel like I've evolved personally with the band members really, because we come from not touring at all and would just meet up, every second weekend to record some songs in the studio, to be thrust in a position where we're together a lot and we're, we're under each other's skin pretty much every day. So, and it's been great for me to be maybe not so selfish and maybe think of others a lot, and because to make a band work, you really need to be married to 3 other people and to be living with them for months on end. So and we've made it work, to tell you the truth. When anything ever arrives, we always talk about it. Nothing's ever sort of left sort of stewing, so that's been really great for us personally.
Do you feel like you're always learning and evolving?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's life in general. If you ever think you know it all, then you don't. It's just life. You're always changing. You're always learning new things. You're always being set in different situations, and you've always learned to deal with them in different ways. And I think you're always evolving.
Is there anything about the album creation process this time that next time you noticed you would want to change?
Not really, to tell you the truth. The main thing that we always wanted to remember rather than change for the next record is that essentially we're making music for us, and to not get caught up in trying to write something that we think people will like, or try and make it accessible because we think people will like it if we do it in a certain way. I think that's the biggest realization for us, to be in the studio next time and really make a record for us, because I got some advice off a producer probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and he said, Shane, you're always going to make records for yourself, because if you make them for anybody else, they don't work. But if you do make them for yourself, then everyone will like it anyway.
What emotion do you wish most to evoke from your fans when they hear your music?
I think just a sense of understanding, really, and just a sense of them realizing that other people have the same feelings, the same emotions, and just that connection.
At this point in your career, what do you fear most?
Fear most at this stage, it's like anything. It's the fear of the unknown, really. And my biggest fear before I come on tour, before I went to the States, and before we started this musical path, was I've wanted it all my life, and there was a little bit of fear of when I got there and I was living it, that I wouldn't like it. So that's definitely a fear that was there, and now I've gotten here, the fear was unfounded, because I like the lifestyle and I like the band I'm in, and I'm 100% happy.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to the readers of Popularity?
All I'd really like to say is they can come and check us out on Facebook, which is facebook.com/St. Leonards. We have a free song on there called Breathe Out, which if they go to a fan-exclusive tab and click on that and like our page, you can download a song. Also, our album is available on iTunes worldwide, so they can go there and download the record and check it out.